Hello everyone, my name is Nur Atika binti Nurzaini. Today, I would like to share to all of you about the stage of greeting and introducing topic clearly in speech. Greeting was an essential part of introduction because it presents both of you and your topic to your audience. It helps the listener understand what kind of topic that you want to talk about. Greeting was an important part when you want to start a speech because it opens up the channel of communications between you and your audience. Greeting also can help catch attention of the audience. There are 5 stages of greeting that we can learn. First, we have to thank the organizer and audience. Start the speech by thanking the audience for coming and thanking the organization for inviting you to speak. For example, thank you to all of you and also to our panel for inviting me to speak. Second, give the audience a great quotes. Start with an interesting quotes can make audience feel more interested to your speech and want to listen more about what are you talking about. Third, start with a positive statement. One of the presentation tips we need to tell our audience is how much they will enjoy our topic with 1 or 2 interesting facts about our topic. This way can help us attract the attention of the audience and make them want to know more about the topic we want to talk about. Example, did you know that every star in the night sky is bigger than our sun? Fourth, compliment the audience. We can start by truly and respectfully congratulating the audience members. We can inform them that their presence is a huge honor. Example, your earnestness to come to listen to this lecture shows that you are very diligent to gain knowledge. Number 5, make a shocking statement. In a speech, we can pique the audience interest by making a starting claim regarding the subject we wish to discuss. The shocking comments we make to them can also serve to inform the audience a little bit about our subject. It can aid with audience comprehension. Example, did you know that obesity affects 1 in 6 children in the United States? Next, I will tell you the stage of introducing topic clearly in speech. Introducing our topic clearly to our audience was the important things that we need to do while speech because introduction conveys a lot of information to our listener. They can be informed of the subject we wish to discuss with them, why it is significant and how we intend to proceed. First, introduce your topic. First thing we need to do is tell the audience what topic we want to talk and why it's interesting or important. Tell the audience about interesting facts or statistic, a strong statement, a question, or a brief anecdote that can make the audience wondering and want to know more about the topic. For example, today, I want to talk about anxiety disorder. For your information, anxiety disorder are the most common of mental disorder and will affect nearly 30% of adults at some point in their life. Number 2, provide background. We also need to describe the background of the topic that we want to talk to make sure the audience can follow our topic. For example, one of the earliest known horticultural crop is garlic. Garlic was mentioned in the Old World by Egyptian and Indian culture 5,000 years ago, and there is unmistakable historical proof that the Babylonians used it 4,500 years ago and the Chinese 2,000 years ago. Third, be straightforward. As a speaker, you need to tell them clearly what you are trying to inform about your topic. For example, I will explain to you today how to study more efficiently.
Next, I will talk about establishing credibility. Establishing trust with a crowd entails building credibility. To create a powerful argument, credibility must be established by sharing personal experience and referring a proof, author, and presenter, establishing credibility. Gaining genuine trust, integrity, and dependability require establishing credibility. You must be regarded as a reliable source of information and judgment by your team member if you want to build credibility. However, When it comes to establishing credibility, these speak louder than words. The two factors that affect speaker credibility the most are competence, whether or not the listener thinks you are intelligent, knowledgeable, and skilled in the area you are discussing. The audience perception of your character, sincerity, and reliability comes next. You should concentrate on the following three stages to increase credibility. First, initial credibility is what the audience know and their opinion prior to the speech. Second, drive. During credibility is how the audience perceive your while delivering speech. And the third, terminate, the lasting impression that the audience has of you as they leave the speech. For example, James Baldwin built credibility into his 1963 speech entitled "A Talk to Teacher." Early in the speech, Baldwin says, "Since I am talking to school teachers and I am not a teacher myself, and in some way am fairly easily intimidated, I beg you to let me leave that and go back to what I think to be the entire purpose of education in the first place." Baldwin, 1963. Here, Baldwin expressed self-awareness that he does not have personal experience with the audience. Next point is attention getter. An attention getter is a technique used by speaker to pique the interest of the audience and introduce the speech theme. In general, there are four factors to take into account when selecting an attention-getting tool. First, appropriation or relevance to audience. Second, purpose of speech. Third, topic. Fourth, occasion. First, make sure the alternative you choose is relevant and appropriate for your target audience before choosing an attention-getting method. Second, think about the main goal of your speech. You can use a speech to enlighten, convince, or entertain people, as was covered earlier in this chapter. Make sure your choice of attention getter aligns with your primary goal while making that choice. The topic of your speech is the third factor to think about when choosing an attention-grabbing device. Ideally, the things that grab people's attention should be related to what you're saying. The speech occasion is the final factor to think about when choosing an attention-getting tool. Certain speaking styles, tone, or manner will be required for different situations. For example, reference to subject, which is the first attention-getting method to consider, is to tell your audience the subject of your speech. For example, we are surrounded by statistical information in today's world. So understanding statistics is becoming paramount to citizenship in the 21st century. This sentence explicitly tells an audience that the speech they are about to hear is about the importance of understanding statistics. Second, reference to audience. The second attention-getting device to consider is a direct reference to the audience. For example, as human resource professionals, you and I know that importance of talent management. In today's competitive, we need to invest in getting and keeping the best talent for our organization to succeed. In this case, the speaker emphasizes that fact they are post-human resource professionals to remind the audience of their shared position and to emphasize the significance of talent management in human resource. Last, historical reference. You can also pique your audience interest by bringing up a relevant historical incident. This tactic is obviously closely similar to the one before, but instead of using a recent news incident, You are looking further back in time to discover a pertinent reference. During 1916 and 17, the United States intervened in the civil strife between North and South Vietnam. The result was a long-running war of attrition in which many American lives were lost and the country of Vietnam suffered tremendous damage and destruction. Today, we see a similar war being waged in Iraq. American lives are being lost and stability has not yet returned to the region. In this example, the speaker is bringing up memory of the Vietnam War in order to highlight parallels between that conflict and the one in Iraq.
Background of the topic and central idea. Firstly, define the purpose of your speech. General speech. Which category best describe your overall goal with the speech? For example, if you are invited to introduce the winner of an award, you are not trying to change the audience's mind about some things. You are honoring to recipient of the award. Okay, next, start to move in the direction of the specific purpose. Specific purpose statement puts on your general purpose and make it more specific. For example, if your first speech is an informative speech, your general purpose will be to inform your audience about your specific realm of knowledge. After that, apply these three contributing elements, which are you, your audience, and your context or setting. You represent your interests, your background, experience, education, and the function is to define, describe, and explain the background of your speech. Your audience represent the audience such as my classmate, the members of the social work club, my co-worker, and lastly the context or setting. For example, how to bake brownies, the match are better than pieces. If we combine these three elements, the sentence will be the purpose of representation is to demonstrate to my co-worker the value of informal intercultural communication. Okay. Lastly, central ideal statement. The statement that reveals your main point is commonly known as the central idea statement. The central idea statement had focused your presentation by defining your topic purpose, direction, or point of view. For example, specific purpose, to explain to my classmate the effect of losing a pet on the elderly. Okay, for central idea, when elderly person lose their animal, companion, they can experience serious psychological, emotional, and physical effect. Okay, for third step is keeping your main points separate. Don't overlap too much. For example, imagine you're giving a speech with a specific purpose to inform my audience about the health reason for eating apples and orange. You could then have 3 point that eating fruit is healthy, that eating apple is healthy, and that eating orange is healthy. While the 2 points relate to apples and orange are clearly distinct, both of those main points will probably overlap too much with the first point, that eating fruits is healthy. Okay, for fourth step is balancing main point. Don't spend too much time talking about one of main points because it's completely neglect their others main points. Organize your speech so as to spend roughly the same amount of time on each main point. Next, creating parallel structure for main points. Structure your main points so that they all sound similar. When all your main points sound similar, it's simply easier for your audience to remember your points and retain them for later. Lastly, maintaining logical flow of main points. Look at your main points. Can you see them as progressive, or does it make a sense to talk about one first, another one second, and the final one last? If you look at your order and it doesn't make sense to you, you probably need to think about the flow of your main point.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurul Iman binti Muhammad Firdaus Chua. Next, I will discuss about conclusion and recommendation. As the final section of a research paper, a conclusion provides a clear interpretation of the result of your research in a way that emphasizes the significance of your study. The conclusion is the section of the research paper that ties everything together logically. A conclusion must be more comprehensive than a specific finding, and various findings may be combined into a single conclusion. How to write a conclusion for your research paper? There is 5 steps to write a conclusion. Firstly, you should state your research paper topic. Typically, one sentence is sufficient to clearly restate the topic, and you will want to explain why your topic is important. This section of your conclusion should be clear and concise, stating only the most important details. Next, restate the thesis. Restate the thesis by revising the original thesis that you presented in your paper's introduction. The thesis statement in your conclusion should be different from what you wrote in the introduction. Third, summarize the main points. Summarize the key points of your research paper. It is beneficial to reread your paper to identify only the most important facts and arguments. Fourth, connect the result of the main points. After stating your main points in your argument, you could go over how the effect of your topic affect a specific outcome. The last one is conclude your thought. As you wrap up, consider creating a call to action or posing an idea that will get your readers thinking about your argument further. Next is range of vocal variety. The use of elements within speech to create an impactful, effective way of speaking is referred to as vocal variety. Vocal variety is the level of expressiveness that allows the speaker's personality to shine through in the way they communicate. There are 4 types of range of vocal variety, namely volume, rate, pitch, and pauses.
The last stage is non-verbal communication. The act of communicating information without using words is known as non-verbal communication. This could entail employing particular facial expression or hand gesture to emphasize a point, as well as using or not using eye contact, physical proximity, and other non-verbal indicators to convey a message. First, gesture. A gesture is a type of non-verbal or non-vocal communication in which obvious bodily movement conveys specific meaning, either in place of or in addition to word. Hand, face, and other body movement are examples of gesture. Second, posture. Additionally, movement and posture can provide a lot of information. Since 1970s, there have been a major increase in the study of body language, in part due to over-interpretation of protective posture like arms, legs, browsing in the media, particularly following the release of Julius Fact book Body Language. Although this nonverbal clue might convey moods and attitude, research indicates that body language is much more nuanced and less fixed than previous thought. Third, eye contact. Nonverbal communication involves the eyes, and crucial indicators include glazing, staring, and blinking. For your information, your blinking rate of pupil size increase when you come across individuals or things you appreciate. Eyes can convey a variety of feelings such as hatred, intrigue, and attraction. Pupils look someone in the eyes to see if they are being truthful. Normal steady eye contact is frequently interpreted as an indication of veracity and reliability. On the other side, unsteady eyes and inability to sustain eye contact are commonly seen as signs of dishonesty or deception.